welcome to the Mix and Mingle talk show. Yes, we're so glad that you are in the building and you decided to hang out with your girl today on this. It was bright and pretty here today, so the weather kind of threw me off because it was like 63 degrees. I don't know. But you expect that here in Greensboro, North Carolina, where everything is green. I'm excited for today's show. We have an extraordinary guest today. She is an awesome person. She's awesome. Everything she touches, awesome sauce. And I'm glad she was able to be in the building with me today here on the Mix and Mingle Talk Show. So guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to bring her on the show today. This is Miss Abby Gal. How are you doing today?
Hey.
You are looking fabulous. Yes.
Thank you. I just did a little makeup.
Yes.
I have sweatpants on, obviously.
Nobody needs to know that. We good. Because from up here, we're fabulous.
Exactly.
Right.
Like COVID times, you only have to do like waist up. I like that.
Right.
I like that.
I love it. I love it. So I'm so glad you are in the building today. And we'll get to, show some nice little nuggets of the real estate world.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting the Clarington call.
I love it.
Because you could have easily said, girl.
I would never.
You wouldn't. You would?
No.
Oh,
sure.
Well, thank God that you did,
Exactly.
Miss Lena said, hi, everybody. Hi there,
Hey.
And if you have a chance, please share. Let everybody else know that we are in the building, the virtual building, actually. Yes. So we can have more people to come in and converse with us. So you are the real estate agent for Price Realtors.
Yes.
So I need to do a little backstory. But before we do that, we're going to go into a thing that I do every single week.
Okay.
And it's called National Day.
Oh. Ooh.
I know, right?
What is today's National Day?
Yeah, on December the 10th, which we are actually, 15 days away from Christmas? Is it 15? Yeah, I know, right?
What?
Ain't that crazy?
Yes.
But it's all right. We're in the building. So today's National Day, I'm trying to pull it up. I don't know what. Okay, we're going to start with the Dewey Decimal System Day. Do you remember using that in school?
Not a chance.
Okay, so that's my time.
Not a chance. Vaguely familiar. Sounds vaguely familiar.
Well, that's what we had to use to check out books, know where the books was at.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
And I loved it because I felt like I was a scientist or something, maybe not. But a lot of people didn't, get down with that. So I quite enjoyed it personally, but it is what it is. But today is Dewey Decimal System Day. We do not use that no more for obvious reasons.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we have the internet now, so that's pretty cool. And you got to know system of where things are at, and nobody got time for that.
Yeah. I don't think that ever really made much sense to me looking back on it now.
Agree. Yeah. I think there was somebody that wanted to feel important and made something a little complicated for everybody else.
A lot of things end up that way. The men in the world were talking to you. Okay. Yeah, talking to you. Y'all did that.
That part. Oh, and Miss Stacy Williams. Hey! Thank you for saying that I look beautiful. I took a bath today.
She always looks beautiful.
Well, thank you. And I feel the same way towards you, girl.
Thank you, girl.
Yeah, Lena said it was still used, and Stacy said it is still used in the Library of Congress. And you know what? With all those old dusty books on there, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
But you had to know the whole system to understand how to use it. But I mean, I used it because they taught us. But I think that the generation after me, they didn't have to. So
yeah, and most books are read online now, which is crazy.
Exactly.
There's something about having a physical book though in your hand. Makes you feel like a little step up.
You know what? And I do like that. It's like reading the Bible. When you turn those pages, you feel like,
you're feeling like a little sense of accomplishment every page turn.
Yes.
I agree.
And you're right, Lena, it is the cataloging system. So yes, I think it was being useful, but now I guess because of internet, I don't know. We don't do that no more. But also today is Human Rights Day. Right.
Nice.
I guess it should be every day.
Nice. It needs to be every day.
It do, especially compared to what we've been going through with 2020.
2020 has been a crazy, crazy year.
Right. Can we tackle it?
I think, for populations that things like this affect, one of which I'm a part of, which is a group of females, but another Black community that you're a part of and so passionate about, that was very deeply affected by 2020. Yep. But, I think there is something to be said about coming out on the other side stronger. And I think that's what we're doing in 2020, It was bad for a lot of people, but there's something to be said about resilience. So
exactly. And it can't do nothing but, make you stronger, right?
Exactly.
You get to see what parts of you that you need to work on and what parts of you are resilient. So
yeah, you got to keep checking yourself, people.
Yeah.
So it's 2020.
Yeah, that part, 2020. Also today for National Day, it is Nobel Peace Prize Day. So
nice.
I know, isn't that great? Yeah. So if you don't know who have been a recipient of that, I think it would be a good time to go and look that up and try to figure out, who actually got this prestigious award. So
they have tons of different categories for that, right?
They do. And it's if you get one, that means that you might be less than 1% of the people that do. I don't know what the percentage is, but that's huge.
Yep, for sure.
So the last National Day is National Lager Day.
National what?
Lager. You know what lager is, right?
No.
It's kind of like amber in color and have a lot of fizz at the top, and it's a drink.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I have that like Southern twang, so I'd probably say lager.
Well,
probably not how you say it.
I think I'm still saying it wrong, but I got that Southern twang too. You know how I roll.
Yeah. I never assume that anyone's saying anything wrong. I assume it's me because it always is.
Yeah. But that's all right, because guess what? If it's coming out your mouth, it's all good.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Say it how you want to say it. Who cares?
Exactly. So those are the national days. I always love doing national days just to figure out what is going on.
Everybody go out there, drink some lager, check out some books.
Well, we're going to say lager today. That's what we're going to say. Lager.
It's your show. I follow your rules.
Or if we was up north, we'd be like beer.
Yeah, beer. Can I get a pint?
Can you pop the guy on the garage? Let me stop. Oh, let me tell a side story before we go ahead and get started on you. So I had this supervisor, and he was from up north. I forgot what part, but anyway, I said, "Can you hand me that pencil?" He said, "A what?" I said, "A pencil." Just hand me the pencil. He said, "What's a pencil?" I said, "What you write with? Like, why are you making my life hard today?" He said, "Oh, this is a pencil." I was like, "You know what I'm talking about." Don't get all like,
don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Right. Look, Lena said it sounds like lager. It might be lager, Luger.
It's all up in the air. It's something. Right. It's something. Kids don't drink it.
It's beer.
It's beer.
So let's go ahead and get started on you. So check this out. I have to lay down the basis of how I know you, Abby.
Oh, lay it down.
Yes, honey. So we have
to
get to the future. You got to know what the past is, right? And so I was fortunate to meet with Abby at UNCG.
Mhm.
she's was going to school for psychology too. Let me tell y'all something. She is uberly smart. Okay, I just want to let y'all know that she is uberly smart, and I only hang with the smart people.
I appreciate that, and that's true. And I almost said like, "Oh no, I'm not," because women are always taught to say that they're not smart, but I am actually smart, and so is Dee Dee. So everybody up there, claim that intelligence.
Claim it, and once somebody give it to you, say thank you.
Exactly. Say thank you and keep on rolling. So thank you.
Right, you're welcome, and thank you for not like kicking that out like a cigarette,
Yeah,
and on it, because I ain't have to give it to you.
exactly.
So I met her at UNCG in the same department of psychology. You graduated like last semester? Or
Yeah, it was going to be in May, then it ended up being in June. I had to take another class because of the job I was at. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
so I graduated in June.
Yeah, you're graduating this June?
No, I already graduated.
Yeah, that's
Graduated
what I was about to say. Wait a minute, you was a little ahead of me.
Yep.
And so I met her. We like intertwined,
Oh,
we
yes.
sisters forever and ever.
Immediate.
Yes, and we've been stuck.
Yeah.
Yes, and Miss Lena says she has always claimed that she was smart, honey.
As you should, lady.
And
Yes.
she does. I could go ahead and claim that she does. She has no problem to tell you that she is smart. Okay.
Perfect. I love
Yes.
that energy. I need more of that energy. I love it.
Yes. So we actually did some we worked together. We had some classes together and been together ever since. And now she's in the epitome part of her life as being a real estate agent.
Yes.
Like, how did you get here?
Uh-huh.
And what made you decide to do that? Because let me tell you something. Because I know your personality, I often see you just being great in anything that you decide to do. So the mere fact that you even want to do this, I can see you being successful in this too. So go ahead and let everybody know your back.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was I kind of have like an odd little story these past like 8 months to a year. So right before I graduated school, I got a job in aviation. I was working in security and compliance, which was a good job. It wasn't like a super exciting job or anything like that, but I had flight benefits, which I'm lucky enough to still have for a little bit. But then I got laid off because of COVID in, I guess it was July. So I'm sitting at home and I went from going to school all the time, doing all these activities, playing volleyball, having a very like active social life, to getting a big girl grown up job, to boom, I'm just like sitting on my couch, can't hang out with friends, can't, do all these things we're used to doing. And mostly I just wasn't busy, which is like the first time in my life that has ever happened.
Wow.
So I was just like, you know what am I gonna do? I'm like, gotta figure out something, pivot on to the next thing. So my grandmother actually has owned and managed a rental property investment company for 30 plus years. So I grew up helping manage that. We've done flip houses. I've done a lot of like home work, like home improvement work over the years. I live in one of my grandma's rental houses. I live next to one of her rental houses. So have kind of been involved in that.
Right.
Gone through like the closing process for homes, looking for homes, whole shebang. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go get my real estate license because I know that I want to invest in rental property and just see where this takes me.
Right.
So, and I'll give a little bit of backstory to kind of, I don't know. I feel like this would be helpful is to kind of go over like how do you get your real estate license in case anyone listening?
Yes.
Okay. So first, you have to take a class that is approved by the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. And you can Google any classes. They have them at community colleges. There's several like private companies that do them. I went through Superior School of Real Estate. And if anybody's listening to this, don't and decides to do it, don't buy the book. I have the book you can have.
Oh, you're so
And I
sweet.
have Quizlets galore, like whatever. If you want to do it, contact me. I can I can give you any advice I have. But I went through the class. It's lengthy. The material's dry, to be like completely blunt about it. You're learning about the construction of homes, how the real estate commission is set up, what you can legally do as a real estate agent, but you're not so much learning about like your day-to-day job, if that makes sense. So you're not really going over how you're going to help people buy and sell their homes. You're really going over what your legal role plays in that, and making sure you don't overstep into roles that you can't play, like roles you would have to be an attorney in order to do.
Right.
So went through the class. I did mine. It was twice a week, pretty much all day. They have different setups, a bunch of different like setups you can choose from. Go through that. You've got to pass an exam at the end of the class, and you go on to take the exam, the North Carolina state exam and the national exam.
Right.
So after you pass the national exam, state exam, you can then affiliate with a broker in charge. So you can go to a firm and tell them, okay, you go through an interview, land the interview, whatever, you become a real estate agent, you're affiliated, you can start buying and selling homes. Well, what you quickly learn is that you have no idea how to do that, because you were never taught any of that in the class that you just took. And now, as a real estate agent, you're an independent contractor.
Right.
So you make your own money based on your commission for the homes that you buy and sell. And if you don't perform, you don't make money. So that's something that is kind of like, you expect it going in because that's the setup, whenever you start researching it. But it kind of hits you whenever you first get started, like, oh, okay,
And see,
like
nobody really talks about that. I've had a lot of friends that became real estate agents,
right.
never talk about that whole part, because you think you go to school, you take these classes, they teach you how to do it, and they don't.
No. You're so like, the biggest piece of advice I would have, and I interviewed with lots of different firms, and I thought that I wanted to go with a bigger firm that was like nationwide. And I was like, oh, they have all this training, they have all this and all this. And that's not to say that they don't, they definitely do.
Right.
But I ended up going with a smaller local firm because I found that I could get more of that one-on-one experience with people, which is what I like better.
Right.
So I got to go out and shadow seasoned real estate agents on how to measure a home, how to determine square feet on a home, things you need to look for whenever you're helping buyers buy a home, things like that. So that was super helpful.
So let me ask you a question. How many, I've heard, I'm not sure, but how many times can you take this exam?
Okay. So it's two different exams. So you take the one exam through the like school portion, through the class portion.
Mm-hmm.
The agency I went through, so Superior School of Real Estate, whatever it's called, you could take that one twice. Now, if you don't pass either time, you have to retake the entire class in order to be able to sit for the state/national exam.
Wow.
So that one's the toughie where you're like, okay, definitely got to get this done in 2, right? But the national state portion that you take after you've already passed the class and everything, you can take an unlimited number of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it pricey? Like, how much do it cost to?
That was definitely something I was going to get into, because I'm just going to break down, say you're listening to this and you want to become a real estate agent, how much money is it going to cost you?
Right.
Because that is not something I was prepared for. So the class is between $500 and $600 for the class. Yeah. But I mean, if you compare it to one college class, your one college class is $500 to $600. So, I mean, yes, it's like a punch in the stomach, but you're like, okay, So $500 to $600 for the class. If you buy the book, I think it's like $40 more for that.
Okay.
So you go through the class. That'll take you about a month. So you're maybe $600 in at this point. You pass the first test and you go to sit for the state/national test. You have to pay in order for the real estate commission to verify your like ability to sit for the exam. So make sure you don't have a harsh criminal record, things like that, things you would do for a job interview, and you have to pay for the test. So that together is like $160. And I think it's between 60 and 100 every time you sit for the exam. So yeah, so you're looking at an additional cost. But the exam is not easy, but it is doable to pass on the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to have those like study habits in place. And as long as you are reading through the material and you're studying, that's how the class that I took was set up. You're studying the exact same stuff you would be taking on the national and state portion, and the exams are set up the exact same way. So you basically just have to pass the same test twice.
Okay, that's good because you know, in college, like you may be studying for one thing,
Yes.
whoopsie doopsie. You like, wait a minute.
Yes.
And I'm noticing a lot of people that are, want to change careers or older. Is this something that they can? Is it doable? Because
100%.
Going back to
100%.
school.
I would say that you will have challenges as far as like if you want to transition from your full-time job to real estate, it would be challenging to do the class, but it's challenging to have a job and go to college. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of challenging but doable. It will be a very large or stark contrast between going from a full-time job where your hourly wage and then going into real estate.
Right.
That would be a big difference. But it's not that it's not doable. And plenty of people, whenever they're transitioning from a full-time job into real estate, they work their full-time job while they go to class, become affiliated, and dip their foot in the water in real estate, start selling some homes, start getting involved, and then they will transition full-time into real estate.
And that's pretty dope there, because what I've noticed that I feel like one thing that a person need to have is some type of tenacity, because you have to, it's not really going to be anybody that'll really hold your hand to
Exactly.
get where you need to get to.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, so I'll keep going with the price stuff because there's one more thing about money wise that you have to consider that I did not initially consider. So you go through, you pass the exam, you pass the other exam, you affiliate with a firm, you get your job. Now you need to affiliate with your local Realtors Association in order to be part of the MLS, so the multiple listing service, which is what you use to find homes and list your homes.
Right.
Well, in order to join the real estate commission and become a part of the MLS, it is prorated based on the month. So different months can be different. So it's not, you get what I'm saying? So if you join in 1 month and it's not the exact months based on their billing cycle, it can be different. So anyways, it is going to be between $600 and $900.
Okay, so that's one-time fee.
So yeah, so the big fee like that is once. Now you have to pay to be a part of the Realtors Association. It's like a yearly $45 fee or something like that.
Right.
But that's definitely something that I was not expecting to be that big of a cost. Right. And again, you're an independent contractor, so even though you're affiliated with a firm and you work for someone, it's on you. Your expenses are on you. So, and I'm not saying that at all to discourage anyone. I just wish someone had told me up front, so that I knew going into it, like, okay, I need to have this money set aside, to get this thing started. It's definitely an investment up front. Now, if you help someone buy a home or sell a home, your first sale is probably going to cover that cost, but it's still good to know up front.
So is it safe to say to bank at least $2,000?
Yes.
I would say, yeah.
Yep.
If you're going into wanting to be a real estate, the upfront cost it's safe to say to save at least
Yeah.
2,000 to go ahead and get
Yep.
everything stated. Also, Lena wanted to ask, how have you adjusted to selling in the pandemic?
Yeah, so that is actually that's a really good question. The market right now is actually a really great market to sell your home. So there are a lot of buyers in the market, but very few sellers. So the inventory is really, really low. So if you put your home on the market, there are tons of people that are going to be interested in your home. So the pandemic has not affected the market in that way in terms of having business to do, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
Now as far as like precautions that we take, so like I'm running a realtor open house tomorrow. Obviously the owners won't be in the home, but we're doing like making sure everybody has masks on whenever they come in the home. I'm going through and turning on all the lights, opening all the doors, just me, so that nobody's touching all that
Right.
tomorrow. I have some snacks, but they're all prepackaged that everybody's not eating. And I'm going to go through and wipe everything down once everybody leaves, make sure they
Right.
sanitize before they come in. So things like that. But as far as the market's great right now, but we're expecting like a very big adjustment after kind of this economic downfall like catches up with us. We're kind of in this lull period as far as a lot of people are waiting on unemployment. I mean, I was for a long time, and then
Yeah.
now, I'm thankful that I'm not anymore, but there's tons of people that aren't in the same situation, no fault of theirs. And we're waiting on our economy to, catch back up. So we could see a shift in the market soon.
Right. Lena said microvan. Yes, all of that. I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
she's already ready for all that. Yes, so I have a question too. Is it important with staging your home? What I've noticed, I've heard, I don't know, that one couple, there was an interracial couple,
Hmm.
and she had some African American stuff up there, and
Right.
she a lot of people wasn't trying to take the house, but when they took it down, she started getting a lot more.
Right.
So
Okay.
is that something in staging a home, or
So across the board, we basically tell clients you want your home to be the least personalized as it can be. And the
right,
reason is because even though your artwork might be beautiful, and I'm sure it is, and whatever you have on the walls is very meaningful to you, or you have decorations in your house that are very meaningful to you, that hinders the person that's looking at your home from being able to visualize themselves buying your home. So you want a buyer to walk in and say like, oh, I can really see myself living here. I could move in right now. I could move my bed in and like be ready to go. Now
right.
obviously like that's not going to be the circumstance in all cases, but you definitely want to depersonalize your home as much as possible.
Okay.
Hmm.
You just answered her
Yep,
questions.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
I think that's important too. And just thinking about, like, so how about colors?
Hmm.
Like, is that important? Do you need to mute the
So I think so. Basically, whenever you go into a home that somebody's looking to sell, you want to think like, is this cost that they're going to put into fixing this going to benefit? Are they going to get out what they're putting in?
right,
So somebody painting wall colors aren't usually going to hinder a buyer from buying your home because that's a pretty minor. Not saying that it's not sometimes expensive, but if you're willing to paint, you can paint a home for pretty cheap as long as you're willing to do the work for it. It might not be
right,
fun, but you can paint a couple rooms for a couple $100.
true,
So that is not going to usually hinder people from buying your home. Now, if you're willing to do upgrades, if it's somebody that's like, I want to sell my home in the next couple of months, I'm willing to put in X amount of money. Usually, the things that return the most amount of money are updated bathrooms and updated kitchens.
right,
Now, kitchens are a big expense, but there's a lot of things that you can do to help make your kitchen look more updated, even though it's not. So like if you pull, or not that it's not, but you're not doing granite countertops, you're not ripping out everything, whatever. So like new knobs on all your cabinets. So
how
you do
about
stainless steel
backsplash?
knobs on all your cabinets. Do what?
Black splash, the backsplash.
Yeah, backsplash. And you know what? Restore, Habitat for Humanity Restore, they sell all of that. I go in there all the time. I've literally bought pretty much everything either that I've redone in my house, secondhand or salvage, and it's way cheaper.
Yep.
And you're helping out people in your community by buying. So definitely try Restore, try secondhand stores. They have Backsplash. They have all kinds of stuff.
Right. So, of course, Lena has a question: granite versus quartz. What do you think?
I would say granite, but still you're looking at the cost. So if you can get quartz that looks like granite, same thing with laminate flooring. Tons of people don't have real hardwoods in their homes. I mean, even a lot of the new construction, they're doing like the gray laminate floorings now.
Yeah.
They don't do real hardwoods in new homes.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to rip up, I would say like if you want to redo floors in one room or two rooms, and you're like, well, I can do this one, I can do real hardwood floors, or I can do both of them and do laminates. Rip them all up and do the laminates.
Right. Right.
Nobody's gonna be like, oh, this isn't real hardwood. They're gonna be looking at the fact that the floor is updated. So
Yeah.
it doesn't get as nitty gritty as it does just like how it looks face value, basically.
Right. I know, like with me, because we're in the process of selling our home,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. It is sellers. You know,
Seller's
like,
market, yep.
yeah, I'm very, very happy here.
Yes.
Before I get into that, Lena asks, what about granite maintenance?
Actually, granite is, I don't say it's low maintenance because you need to make sure you're watching what you like certain sprays. Yeah, certain sprays that you have on it. But since it's rock, and this is something my mom used to get onto me all the time about cutting on the granite, chopping up stuff on the granite. You can actually you can do that. It's fine. It's just rock.
Yeah.
It depends on the finish. If you have like a very polished finish, you kind of have to look out for stuff like that. But I mean, it's solid. It's rock. You don't have to worry about it deteriorating necessarily. Sometimes that nice shiny finish they do is kind of what you're looking out for as far as like certain sprays and stuff you put on it.
Right. I know our home, we'll probably have to we was talking about actually getting the carpet stretched, and a lot of people don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know until we have our realtor, and she was talking about that. 'Cause it was
Right.
like, oh, this is a carpet we'd had since we had, in the since we moved.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get that cleaned and stretched. I didn't know anything about that.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Yeah. So what it does, over the years, the carpet and the padding underneath gets kind of wrinkled. So you have the carpet looking all wrinkled.
Right.
So what they do is they pull up the edges, and after they clean it, and they
Right. Okay. Okay.
and then they lay it back down. So that you won't have to buy the new carpet. Now,
Right.
it's still looking kind of crazy. You can put that, I guess, in the say, hey, well, we'll put some money towards.
Yeah. One thing I will say is carpets will clean up very nicely for a few weeks. So if you're looking to sell your home and you want to make it stand out, get your carpets cleaned because it is impossible to keep them clean. So get them cleaned. And if you're buying a home on the alternative, look out for carpets looking very nice and then spots coming through after you buy your home.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Wow. We're trying to figure out if we're going to build or if we're going to get a home that's already established. We haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
But I have noticed that we haven't found we want one with a basement. There's not a lot of homes with a basement.
Yeah. There's not a lot of homes with basement. And if you're looking to build, that makes your building costs skyrocket in order to build a basement. It is more expensive to have a basement. Yeah.
Because it's like another room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you can double the square footage of your house with a full basement.
Yeah. So that's our dilemma. We like, we really want that,
Yeah.
But like I said,
I love a basement.
Especially here, it's not a lot of basement. We're not a basement.
You could look too at split levels. Sometimes they're considered like split levels, and it's considered a lower level, even though it's a basement. It's a basement plus a room, or a basement plus two, but you have to determine the like type of build. So sometimes those are labeled. They're split levels, but it's what you would think of a lot of times as like a typical basement.
Right. I
Mm.
don't like split levels, and it's just awkward to me. It's like, as soon as you open the door, you have to make a quick decision.
Yes, okay. My grew up. My parents had. My grandparents had a split level. You walk in the door, you got to go up or down. The house I just listed is considered like a split level, but on the main floor, it has like over 1,000 square feet and it has a
Yeah,
kitchen,
I
all this
saw
stuff.
it.
And then you just have to walk up a couple steps to the master,
I
but it's
saw
still
that.
considered a split level. But that wasn't what I would think of as a typical split level. You know what I mean?
It did not follow the hard
Right.
process of what a split level is, and I thought it
Mhm.
was pretty interesting. And I kind of like that house. It's kind of homey and cute,
It
honey.
is cute.
Yes.
The lady who or the couple that lives there, but she used to stage homes. And they've put in so much work, so much love into this house. It's so pretty.
You
And
can
they've
tell.
just really they've like put a lot of work into it. So
Let me tell you, the backyard. I just imagine my daughter out there, like,
yeah,
cheering and all.
I
It was
know.
really nice.
I know. And they're looking to downsize, and I think they had a lot of time with their family in that home. And so that's a hard transition whenever my parents just moved out of my childhood home, and they're like, "Oh, I remember this happening and this and this and this." So it's like, I don't know. It's tough.
Wow. Well, Lena has two questions. I'm gonna go with her first question. She said, "Stick built or versus prefab."
So I would say it depends on what you want the home for. So if you want to live in the home and that's going to be your last home, that's where you want to stay, you're done, whatever. I would go with stick, but a lot of the prefabricated homes are super nice now.
I'm so nervous though. A good wind can go. I'm just thinking that a wind gonna
I
blow
know.
through.
Well, what happens a lot of times is they will build certain portions of the home and then it gets all brought together at the end.
Right.
Um, but it depends. I I still would say stick build though. Just
Yeah.
if you're able to, not saying that like my aunt and uncle lived in a prefabricated home on like a farm and it was
Wow.
huge and you
Wow.
would never know. So I think it just depends. I haven't worked as much with builders. Um but just from what I know as far as what my grandmother has invested in, you just want a home with good bones. That's what she
Yep.
always says. So
Yep. That's what I think too.
mhm.
Her second question is, how does she find flow foreclosures?
Okay, so a lot of those are generally posted by your county.
Okay.
And I'll make a note of that and share the website with you. But one thing to think about with foreclosures, and we're probably going to have a lot of foreclosures coming up in the new year because of the eviction situation with the pandemic. And I think a lot of people who have been fortunate enough to invest in rental properties who are still paying mortgages aren't able to pay those mortgages. Um, and it's like no one's fault. It's not the people's
Right.
fault who can't pay the rent because they
Right.
can't. And we're in a pandemic, and it's just an unfortunate situation all around. But irregardless, I think there's going to be a lot of foreclosures in the new year. One thing to keep in mind is a lot of foreclosures are cash on hand, so you can't get financing through a bank. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you have the money to do it, it's a great opportunity to.
Right.
I would definitely do your research as far as things you want to look for that are going to be big expenses in a home are a new roof, new HVAC unit,
Yep.
making sure there's no moisture on the underneath of the house.
Yeah.
Those are going to be your biggest expenses. Definitely, definitely, definitely no moisture under the house. But from there, you can kind of pick and choose how much rehab you're wanting to do, especially if it's an investment property. It's not something you want to make like your forever home.
Right.
So yeah.
It's so funny because I actually saw just here recently that someone, I guess, probably did a quick sale. I'm not sure.
Right.
And I guess it's a realtor. company, they bought it for $1,500.
That's
And
crazy.
they're selling it for $150,000 as is. As is. They ain't touching nothing. The only thing they did was clean out the bushes from the back
Yep.
and cut down a tree. And they said, as is, it's going to be $150,000 for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house.
One thing with that though, if you
That's
become a real estate agent and you want to invest in properties like you're talking about with this one,
right,
and you buy a foreclosure, whenever we talk about things that are material facts. So if I'm a real estate agent and I know that your dishwasher doesn't work, I have to disclose that to buyers. I
right,
can't keep that a secret.
right,
You get into like some like poor ethical stuff. Like you don't want somebody buying something they don't know what's going on with it. Basically, that's
right,
not fair.
right.
Whenever you're a real estate agent and you buy a foreclosure or any investment property and you want to sell it yourself, you have to disclose every material fact that you know about that home. So in order to do that transaction ethically and where the real estate commission would be fine with you doing it, you can sell it as is, but you still have to let whoever is buying it know of all of the problems that
Right.
house has. Yeah.
And it's problems all through that house. Like I was looking at it, I'm like, what in the world? But to actually buy it, because a lot of people buy homes and all you're doing is buying the taxes. Like, and you got a home.
Yep.
And it's sad, but it's so true.
I know.
You know, how do people find those? Like, do you have to go through a real estate agent like yourself?
No, not in order to find foreclosures. You definitely can, but so this is something I was going to talk about is, quick sell. If you are looking to buy a home, it is in your best interest to have a buyer's agent because say if DeVaris was selling her house and I wanted to buy her house and I hired another person as my real estate agent, you pay your real estate agent 5 or 6% commission, whatever you guys decided on, and then they split that commission with me. So my buyer who I'm helping buy the house for is not paying me any money.
Right.
So whenever you are looking for a house, especially in this market, and you're looking to buy a house, it is in your best interest and your money's best interest to have someone work for you for free.
Wow. That's a good nugget right there.
Yep.
Wow. And a lot of people
the sellers are paying the buyer's agent. Now, whenever you sign a buyer agency contract, one thing you want to look for is to make sure that any additional percentage that would be split. So say you listed a home and the commission was going to be 5% total and your seller's agent got the 2.5% and they paid me 2.5%. But in my buyer's agency contract, we decided on 3%. Right. And I didn't have a contingency at the end that says, or what the listing allows, which is what I include in my contracts, because I don't want somebody having to come to me to pay me that 0.5%. I don't think that's right.
Right.
I'm doing my job to find them the house and they're going to pay me and I don't want to have to come back to you for all this extra money.
Right.
So that's something you want to look for whenever you decide on a buyer's agent. And it's definitely in your best interest to have a buyer's agent.
That is awesome. I did not know that.
Yep. I didn't know that. I literally did not know that either until I went to real estate school. And I was like, how don't people know this? Why isn't this common knowledge? Because in my head, prior to my experience with real estate is, I'm going to have to pay someone in order to help me find a house.
Right.
Regardless, because they're doing a service for me. So I'm going to owe them money. But really, it is the seller who usually pays the buyer agent.
Did not know that. Wow. Interesting. And Lena said, quick sale, take a contractor and a broker. And Valerie said, this is some great information.
Oh, good, Valerie. I'm glad.
Yes. I mean, because we want to make sure that people are not getting, knowledge is power.
100%.
Yeah. And
completely agree.
There's so many people that want to scam so bad. You scamming, you cutting here and doing that. At the end of the day, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So just do things and do it the right way.
Yep. That was one thing I was nervous about getting into sales is like, I don't like things to feel transactional. I like to be able to have connections with people and talk to people. Um, so I don't ever want it to feel like I'm selling people something. You know what
Right.
I mean? If they have a good connection with me and I have a good connection with them and they think that we would work well together, then great. And we'll work well together. But if not, then it's not a good fit for either one. And we're both not going to be happy in this like mutual working relationship because, you are in contact a lot with your real estate agent,
Yep.
especially if they're selling your home and then helping you also buy a home. So
Yes.
you just want to make sure like it's a good fit. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. That's with anything. Like if it doesn't feel right and it just don't.
Go with your gut.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you a question. Is it a great time? Is it a certain time that you need to buy a house? Like, is it better to do it in the springtime or the wintertime? Because you hear different
Right, right.
conflicting information about that.
Right. So it definitely wouldn't depend on the time of year, but the market. So, like right now, if you're like, well, I want to buy a home in the next 2 years, but now I don't have to do it right now.
Right.
Now would not be a good time for you to necessarily buy a home because it's a seller's market. So prices are being driven up by that.
Right.
The alternative is like, it's not, regardless if you want to buy a home and find a home that you like, you can do it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's not like you can't find a home in this market. It's just like if you're looking for the best time to buy a home, it's not now because the
Right.
prices are being driven up by the fact that it's a seller's market. Now, the opposite is true is like if you're looking to sell your home in the next 2 years, now's a great time to sell your home. You're going to get great money for your home,
Right.
probably have multiple offers on your home and it would sell within a week. I mean,
Yeah.
I have like 4 or 5 people that are like, I have clients that are coming to look at your house tomorrow and like there's 6 showings set up and all these people are coming to this open house. Like it
Wow.
will probably sell within 6, 7 days.
Wow. Yeah, this is it's kind of hard because one of the decisions if you're owning a home, should you go ahead and sell it, you
Right.
still need a place to stay.
I know.
So that's another,
That's a
no.
toughie is because it's like in a great market like this, you can sell your home really, really quick. You're not going to have problems doing that and you can make great money on your home. But are you going to be able to turn around and find a home that you want to live in because there's such a small amount of homes?
Mhm.
So that's another reason why it is super crucial if you're looking to do either of the two to hire a real estate agent that's full-time working to help make sure that happens because it's hard in this market in general to make sure you find a home and make sure you're the most competitive person making an offer that they're
Right.
going to accept. But not only that, it's like if you're working a full-time job, you have 3 kids, this and that, and you're trying to just get on Zillow and call when you can and do all this, that is like so, so, so hard. Like everyone's busy, everyone's running around. Like people do this for their full-time job. And then a
Right.
lot of times, half the time, if it's a buyer situation, like you're not even having to pay for the service necessarily. So,
Wow. So, questions I have is going back to like the foreclosures. Is
mhm,
it good? I remember uh, Lena was talking about having a contractor and a broker.
mhm.
Are those? Is that a great thing to do?
Yeah. So if you're doing a short sale and with foreclosures, there is, okay, let me back up. So whenever you do a normal sale transaction that we're all used to seeing, you have a 30 to 45-day closing period generally.
Yes.
And in that period, you have something called a due diligence period where you're going to say, I'm going to give you X amount of money. You can have this money, and I'm paying you in order to investigate your home. And
Okay.
I'm going to make sure it's exactly what I want to buy. So during that period, you'll have inspectors come in, you'll have contractors come in, handymen, whatever, whatever. And you'll make sure that that home is what you want to buy. And if it's not, you'll back out of the contract.
Right.
That's completely eliminated in a short sale or a foreclosure situation
Right.
generally. So it eliminates the opportunity for you to be able to go in and say, okay, I have all this time to set up all these appointments and really figure out if this is what I want. Sometimes with quick sales or foreclosures, auctions, they'll have an opportunity for you to walk through the home. So in that situation, you definitely want to bring a realtor, bring a contractor, but also with that, the caveat is you can only know so much by walking through a home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can only know so much. Say there's mold in the home. Not all mold is toxic, like is toxic to people. So obviously you don't want mold in your house. You don't want moisture in your house, but it's not always as big of a deal as it could be necessarily.
Right.
But other times it's a huge deal and it's terrible. So you
Right.
just like don't know. You're not going to have the opportunity to be able to like test that out. So I don't know, just some caveats to know if that's something that you're looking to do.
So piggybacking all the way, sorry you hear my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Piggybacking all the way back to becoming a real estate agent. And we already stated that it's going to take about $2,000
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and get you like stabled and everything like that.
Right.
Who does the showings? Do you go and find these houses? I mean, or did the company that you're working with, do they find them? How
Right.
do you really distribute that amongst
So
everybody?
how do I find people that I want to sell their house? Basically, how do I find business?
Yes.
Okay. So that is going to vastly depend on the firm that you're with.
Okay.
So first I'll talk about these kind of bigger firms, which is not like a firm that I'm with. I'm with a
Right.
local agency, so this is not my experience. However, with bigger firms, a lot of times you are going to pay a fee to work in their office.
Oh.
You're going to pay to print things. You're going to
A
pay,
bigger one?
yeah, so like a big corporate firm.
Yeah, we done seen them before.
Yeah, you're gonna pay in order to affiliate with the franchise. Okay, so you're gonna have additional fees on top of the fees we just talked about. However, the benefit of that is a lot of times whenever people will Google top real estate agents in Greensboro, and it'll take them to these big corporate firm websites, and they'll put in their contact information. So that's what we call a lead. So those leads generally get distributed. So with the bigger firms. So there is a big benefit from that is like you have people that you might have a list of people you can call and they're looking to sell their home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of the cost benefit situation for that. To me, I'd already invested a lot of money that like at or around $2,000 into real estate. And to me, I
Yes.
was like, well, I'm not going to pay to go to work off the bat. Like I don't want to pay to go be in an office. I don't want to pay to print materials. I don't want to kind of do that because I'm not guaranteed to make any money. I could sit at that office for 6 months and never sell a house. No one's guaranteeing that that's going to be the case. And this is not to speak ill of any of the bigger firms. I'm just telling what my experience was, and it can be a great fit for people. I just don't think it was a great fit for me.
Right.
So with my firm, that was the biggest thing is they were, and if anyone is a real estate agent or is looking to become a real estate agent, let me know. We're a small locally owned firm. We have 4 offices, 66 agents. We do a lot of work in the community, which is another reason why I love it.
Great.
We like raise a lot of money to provide like meals to people on Christmas and Thanksgiving, have a lot of community events, stuff like that. So not only does it like feel good, like I'm working for like a good place, but also I don't have to like pay to go to work. I have an office. I'm able to like print what I need. Everyone that I've come in contact with is incredibly helpful. I have like a streamline of contacts of people that I can like text and be like, hey, how do I do this? Like, I don't know how to do this. Can you please help me? And they're super responsive, super helpful. Everyone's looking out for your best interest. It's not really like a cutthroat like situation where you're like kind of sharks are like grabbing at stuff. That's not the vibe for the firm that I work for, which is good. And I like that. But if you're looking to like really get in like the sales version of real estate and be kind of like super competitive, the bigger firm might be a good fit for you.
So let me ask you a question. I don't know if it's because of the firms or because of you being a real estate agent. Some agents can only sell in North Carolina. Some can sell, beyond that. Can you like really describe and break that?
Yeah. So from my understanding, there are like a certain number of states that will accept a North Carolina license to sell in their state. Right. So it really just depends on the state. Like, I think you can go into, yeah, and there's like some type of rule too, because, you know, in Greensboro, you're not that far from the Virginia line. So,
Right.
like, you can, um, I'm not sure. I know that it is based on the state, and if like the state will accept a North Carolina license,
Mhm.
and tons of states do. I think it's like over half.
Right.
We have a very like high standard for real estate agents. So generally across states it's accepted, but I think it just depends on the state. There might be some like um particular, like maybe you have to like pass a test in other states, like an additional test,
Right.
whereas in other states like you're good to go. I would just check on the state specifically. But um
Go ahead,
something to
girl.
note as a real estate agent related to that is you always want to work in areas like that you're familiar with. So you don't want to go sell a house like 3 hours down the road where you don't know the market, because you don't really know how to like, you wouldn't do as good of a job at being able to determine how much the home's worth.
Right.
That being said, if you have a friend or family member that wants to sell their home or buy a home, you can start contacting real estate agents in that area and make some connections and decide on someone that you think would be a good fit. And then if they end up going with the person that you think is a good fit, that real estate agent will pay you a referral fee based on
Oh,
the commission. Mhm.
great.
Yep.
So if somebody is now starting out, want to be a real estate, they passed, the test, and they decided they want to do a smaller,
Smaller firm.
yeah.
Yep.
What are the things that you can tell them to help them boost their morale of themselves? Because you do feel like you're the small fish in a bigger pond.
Yes.
So how do you
Yes.
combat that? How do you like get up in the morning and say, "This is another day"?
Right. So what I will tell you is like you'll quickly realize that like you're in a sales business. So like everyone is making everything look really good.
Right.
And once you get in the business, you'll understand like, okay, they sold this house, which means they probably got this much money based on their commission split.
Hmm.
And they've sold X amount of houses this year. They're probably making this amount of money, whatever. And so you understand more clearly how you like gain a bigger perspective, or like you get the bigger picture, you gain a better perspective on it. So that hasn't necessarily been an issue as far as like feeling like I was like at a disadvantage for going like being at a smaller firm, but I thought that it would be going in because I was like, well, I'm young. I want to affiliate with like a bigger firm that people know. And what
Right.
you very quickly realize is like it is all about your ability to like talk to people and connect with people, because
I agree.
you're your own boss. You're the face of whatever you're like able to do for the transaction. So like it is all about your ability to talk to people. So like go out there, do honest, like that is one thing that Janet told me in college, one of my mentors. She was like, work hard and do honest work,
Yep.
and everything else will flow from that. And it's like, that is absolutely so true.
I
Like,
agree.
be like a just and honest human and work hard, and you will not have to worry about the money. You really won't. And like, I'm not saying that from like a place of like, there's plenty of business to be had in the real estate business, basically. So if
Exactly.
you're out there and you're working hard, and you're making connections with people, it'll come.
And I agree. I totally agree. And I think having all this information really help build people becoming a real estate agent. I think personality is very important. If you lack, to me personally, if you lack the ability to talk and engage with people, that's part of your money.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't
Same
feel
thing.
like you have their best interest, and not just saying for them personally, but wanting the best for them by getting them information, letting them know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and giving them insider tips, that's going to take you, a lot further.
It's huge. It's
Yep.
huge in sales and like in real estate too. You don't want to make like you want someone to be in a house that they're going to love. You know what I mean? You don't just want to
Yeah.
make the most money out of it. You don't just want to do this. If sometimes it's more work, it's more work. At the end of the day, somebody's going to be living there. It's a huge difference to their life. So you just kind of have to kind of go with that perspective, and you're good to go.
Well, can you believe we're at the end of the show?
Oh,
Yes, we're at the end of the show. I keep wanting to turn my hair the wrong way.
same. I've messed with mine the whole time.
Me too. Abby, I want to thank you. Is it any way people can, if you could, like put in the chat box the information
Yeah.
to get in contact with you?
Yes, I
Maybe
will
ask you questions?
yes, let me put my phone number in here. If
Okay.
anyone is in here and has any questions about getting into real estate, about buying or selling their home, please, please, please let me know.
Yes.
Obviously, don't feel like you're like obligated to work with me, anything like that. Like, seriously, if you have a question, let me know. I'll do my best to answer or point you in the right direction. But it was great to be on here, and I appreciate it and I had so much fun.
I did too. And you know what? It's amazing. Thank you so much for just, being here and doing this, because a lot of people don't know. I didn't know, and the mere fact that you were so open and candid, I just want to thank you for that.
Of course, of course. And if anybody needs any help, like I said, ask Dee Dee. I will give it to you blunt. I'll give you the honest answer. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I feel like I'm the least like salesman ever, because I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just going to give it to you straight. And, I did my best to do that. So,
yes, she does. So call her, get in contact with her. She's also on Facebook if you want to friend her.
Yes.
And look at them houses, honey, because the house that she just put up, oh my God.
It's a beauty.
Yes. Hey, Antoinette. And Lena said, great.
Thank you, guys.
On the behalf of the Mix and Mingle Talk Show, this is your girl, Art, and we're happy to have Miss Abby Giles here. Like we say every week, we out.
We out.